question we always like to ask on Pathbreakers. What is that X factor that helps our guests take their businesses to such heights? We put that question to Atul as well. Is there something specific also to Atul Punj or the way that you work, your management style, that has filtered in through the companies?
I think we're a very empowered group. Our CEOs are genuinely empowered to take decisions. That filters all the way down. There's a big culture of mentoring that happens over here. Problem with that is as you build up a reputation, you also become a right poaching ground. Okay, so you find people being picked up at, sometimes 2-3 times the packages that they have here simply because they've got the stamp. Other companies that have been around for much longer are more institutional, not as entrepreneurial probably as we are. So I think entrepreneurial is really the way I would describe us.
You're talking about entrepreneurship. What, according to you, are the key qualities that would make a good entrepreneur?
Hard to really describe. I think a lot of people have attempted to do that. But I think the ability to take risk ultimately is at the core of an entrepreneur's personality. And at the end of it, no matter how hard you try, how much risk you're prepared to take, there's that element of luck. Being there at the right time, at the right place, and allowing, or just staying on till that right time and right place comes, hanging in there, I think really determines the core of an entrepreneur.
And I guess you also need a very large sense of, some amount of passion or drive. You need to want to achieve something. Otherwise, because this kind of persistence is also key, right?
Yeah, as I said, it's just the tenacity to just hang in there.
Right.
And wait for the right time and right place to come if you don't find yourself in it. Some people just find themselves in it, okay? And I think, like, I got into this business purely by chance, okay? The family business was industrial insulation, which bored me. And one day I opened the newspapers and saw an advertisement for a pipeline to be built from Bombay to Pune by HPCL. Sent telexes out to 13, telexes in those days, to 13 companies. One replied, got on a plane and went and signed up with them, put in a bid. So it was pure chance that, one day I opened the papers and saw that particular advertisement. So there's a lot of that in there. How you're able to then grab hold of the opportunity and make something big out of it is then the persistence, the keeping on, having a good team, making sure that you're surrounded by the right people. And oftentimes you find that you made a mistake. Sometimes you can have worked with somebody for many years and find that you made a big, big mistake, but you get close, you get incestuous. And so it's important to guard against that.
So people management is also incredibly, talent management is key.
It's critical.
So what excites Atul Punj now in terms of business?
I think firstly what excites us in our businesses is never dull day. I mean, I have friends who have manufacturing facilities and their conversation seems to be to pick up the phone, ask the CEO how much was produced, how much was dispatched, how much money was collected. 5-6 questions and you're done. And I was explaining to somebody when they asked me why I travel 3 weeks a month. I said, listen, when you were setting up your plant, you were working 12 hours a day, right? Now we are always putting up a plant for somebody else. So you magnify that issue 60 times. That's our day in the sun. Okay, so it's like a 24/7 you're on a roll. And there's a lot of good news, but some little bad news pops up somewhere which then diverts all your attention there. So that's the exciting part. What we are now moving into is more and more technology-based businesses. We have a company called PL Engineering, which is doing a lot of our own group engineering work, but we've also now gone into aerospace design work. We have a joint venture now with Jackie from France. We're one of the major engineering contractors to Airbus. We have a manufacturing facility coming up right now in Gwalior, which is going to be doing a lot of high-spec manufacturing for the aerospace and defense industries. So there's some other blocks that are now coming in place.
So where do you see yourself, let's say 5 years, right? I think it's impossible to think 10 years from now, but not just business-wise, but as in where would you like to be?
Well, personally, I think what excites me a lot is the whole area of geopolitics. Because we work in so many countries, we need to understand what's happening in a particular country, what's happening in the region around it, who are the influencers in a country, in a region, etc., and find a way to slot in. That's really what keeps on going. And I find that very, very exciting. And I think that would probably be an area where one could spend more time, whether it's a think tank or some other such body that one would get associated with. That would be exciting.
That's something you'd look at doing later.
Sure.
But is there always more pressure on yourself to make sure that Punj Lloyd stays ahead, given that it's your baby, it's a company that you've, taken to this level? Is that something that keeps you up at night?
Nothing keeps me up at night. But yeah, if you'd say what I'd like to first, the obsession was to get back to where we were 2 years ago. Yeah. We're now there. Okay. Now, how do you scale up? And as you get to this 2 billion, 3 billion, 4 billion number, that 30-40% growth rate becomes a little iffy. So now the focus is we've got size, we've got scale, we've got large size of projects. Now the focus is bottom line.
How you'd like people to look at you? Would you like them to remember you as a risk taker, someone who experiments?
I don't think like that. I don't think.
What qualities would you like?
It's up to them to form a judgment, as and when they do.
Right.
But I'm sure it'll be a mixed bag.
Give me 2 or 3 adjectives.
A risk taker, I think. Yeah, ballsy. So, to use a simple one-word phrase.
Atul, thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Pleasure.